So let's walk through a real life example of what this would sound like if you are trying to create this expectation to stick. I'm the team member, you're the leader. What is this conversation?
Right. Okay. So let's come up with something fun. Like what would be an expectation that we might be setting?
Am I a developer in this setting?
You can. I mean,
since you're in the tech side,
I am the tech guy. Well, tell you what. Let's say that we'll make it a little bit more accessible for everybody. Let's say that I was talking to somebody that was responsible for quality, product quality. Okay. Whether that's manufacturing,
I'm a quality assurance guy.
Right. Quality
QA.
Assurance person. Right. So I might say, okay, George, it's really, really important that when we release products out to the marketplace, that they're of a really, really high quality. So let me frame that up for you, right? What I mean is, it's not your job to think of every edge case under the sun of how something could go wrong. What I want you to be really focused on is I really want you to be the expert on how our customers use our product. And I want you to kind of use the 80-20 rule. I want you to look at how do 80% of our customers use this product, and I want you to focus in on those behaviors and making sure that the product really, really works well for that 80%. The 20%, man, it is super easy for us to have all of our time and energy consumed by all of those edge cases. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I want you to focus in on the 80% of how our customers use the product. And so just to be clear, I know as a quality assurance person, you're not the person building the product. You're the person that's testing it and making sure that it's working well for the customer. I need you to hear that you have the authority to stop the line, right? If there is something that we want to put out there that is going to not serve the customer well in that 80%, and it's gonna cause them to lose trust with us or to not accomplish the goal that we're after, you have the right. You are empowered with the rest of your team to stop the line. You can stop this from going out the door. And so let me be clear about how we're going to measure this, right? Here's what I don't want to do in this situation. I don't want to tell you that you can have zero problems. If I tell you as a quality assurance person that there can be no flaws, what you're going to do is you're going to design a way of doing your job that's going to jam everybody else up, right? So what I'm comfortable with is I'm comfortable with 5% of the things that go over the finish line having a problem, right? Because we're all human, we're all going to make mistakes, right? And then at this point in the conversation, I'm going to say like, okay, well, what blanks have I left? What additional details do you need? And we'll have a little bit of a conversation. And once we kind of land the plane that we're on the same page, I'm going to ask, like, are you ready to commit? Is this something that you feel like you can do? You have enough information? You've got the resources that you need? Or are you ready to commit?
So that was a great example of what one expectation, one conversation would sound like. Let's now skip over to the accountability side. I've got a full load of expectations.
Right.
We're now meeting maybe in our monthly one-on-one meeting.
Yeah.
What does the conversation sound like?
Right. So in that scenario, you're going to have as a quality assurance person in our example, you're going to have more than one expectation on your plate. Right. So what we're going to do is, we're going to sit down and I'm going to ask like, all right, let's get all these expectations off your chest. Right. And some of those expectations, aren't going to match what my expectations are. Because here's the funny thing about expectations. There are the expectations that I explicitly communicate to you, but there's a whole bunch of other things that happen, right? You have all these implicit expectations, like things that you feel like you should be responsible for, but I have never asked you to do, or things that you feel like I'm thinking that I've never actually said out loud, or situations where somebody else somewhere in some other corner of the organization has set an expectation on you that I don't know anything about. And frankly, I might not want you to be investing your time there, right? So, when I'm walking through one of these accountability conversations or one of these accountability one-on-ones that I do, when I talk about visualizing all the expectations, what I'm trying to mine for there, if you're the quality assurance person, is, hey, tell me all the expectations that you feel. And I want to understand, like, which expectations do you think I have of you that you think I haven't spoken? What expectations from some other person in the organization have put something on your plate? Part of that visualization of all those expectations is going to reveal to me as the leader just how much you've got going on in your brain, right? So if I'm talking to you as a quality assurance person, and you say, well, remember that explicit expectation that you set about product quality? Yes. Okay, well, that one's going on the list. And you might start rattling off a bunch of others. Like, hey, there's also an expectation that I go to a daily training session on how to get better at quality assurance. I might say, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know anything about that. And you might also say as a quality assurance person, hey, all the quality assurance people in the company get together and we share learnings with each other. And I've been asked to actually facilitate that meeting and organize it for everybody. And that's taken up like 3-4 hours a week in preparation time. And I might not know anything about that either as your leader. All of those sort of hidden expectations, are actually a real big problem. And so by visualizing all of the expectations, now we can create some real accountability. So we visualize all those things. Now I've gotten to a point where I understand, like, oh, interesting. I didn't know about that team meeting that you have that you're investing so much time in organizing. So I might say to you, George, that's not actually how I want you spending your time. We need to reset some expectations. I didn't put that expectation on your plate. Somebody else did. So we're going to prune that one. We're going to take that one off. And there might be some other things I want to add to the list, right? And then one of the things that I'm going to do too in terms of prioritization is that once we get all of these expectations that are explicit or implicit, visualized, we're going to go through and we're actually going to stack rank them. In a given week, you might not be able to get to all of the expectations on your plate. So which ones are really the most important ones? So I might say, you know what? Absolutely, priority number one is I want to make sure that you apply that 80-20 rule to testing the product that we're making really, really well, right? That's always your A1. Organizing that monthly meeting, I'd rather, if you have a choice between doing that or creating great product quality, I'd rather you just cancel the meeting. Help people prioritize.
And see, that's what the importance of one-on-ones and looking at all this again and saying, let's look at the list. Where is it at now?
Right.
Are we doing a good job prioritizing and pruning? And it makes the team member go, wow, this leader really cares about me not being overwhelmed and me doing my job well.
Right. Yeah, the person will actually feel like, oh, wow, this person's locked into what I'm actually doing, and they're participating in the critical thinking that's necessary in order for me to be successful at my job.
And nothing you just said made me feel attacked because you never got defensive and went, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
You just started asking questions, understanding.
It's just very pragmatic. Yeah,
I love it.